Happy Sunday, everyone. It's the Young Money Market guys. We're here. We're getting ready to start another week in the markets. We got Josh, Nick, Eric, Ryan. Excited to talk to you guys tonight. So, what do we got going on here? What do we want to talk about? Nick, what do you got on mind?
Uh, well, I kind of want to talk through a little bit of just the level of uncertainty that we're currently kind of faced with, I think, in the market right now, and that's both the stock market and the crypto market. And then I also want to talk a little bit about the new Anchor protocol, which is the brand new project on the Terra platform or Terra blockchain, which I think is super interesting and probably relevant for some of our listeners. But I don't have a strong preference, man. So if we whichever thing we want to get into first, I'm
I think the
totally good
last
for.
the last time we were on, it was Tuesday, and the anchor was dropping Tuesday night at like 3 a.m. or something like that. You guys were staying up for it. How'd the launch go?
Yes, yeah. So I stayed. I actually stayed up for it, uh, and yeah. I mean, it was pretty it was pretty bad if I'm being totally honest. Like, uh, it so basically what happened was there was a countdown and it was like on the site. I was watching a live stream of this YouTube live stream of these guys that were talking about Anchor, and there's so much hype. And then I was also a part of the Discord chat, and everybody was like getting all hyped and stuff. And the timer ticked down like 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, and then it hit 1, and then nothing happened. Like I still couldn't access the project. Um, Everybody was freaking out. Like people were like losing their minds, like just absolutely super pissed, freaking out. Then the creator, um, Doe, Josh, what's the guy's full name? I want to make sure that I'm giving him credit here. We can't hear you, Josh.
We got
You
you on
might be
mute.
on mute. You're still on mute, buddy. There we go.
You hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
I've only seen it spelled. I believe it's Do Kwon.
Yeah.
I've never heard the pronunciation of it. So
But anyway, so the guy, he's tweeting, and I followed him on Twitter, and he was like, "Yo, there's a bot that's trying to DDoS their way into being first into the liquidity pools, and therefore, like, basically, if the bot gets in first, then they reap like a lot of the benefit, right, of the liquidity pool." He wanted it to be more of a fair shake, so he was tweeting out updates like, "I'm fighting against this DDoS attack." Everybody was like, "Why didn't you predict this ahead of time? Like, why are we dealing with this now?" And this was like 1:30 in the morning Pacific time. So I ended up just going to bed because I was like, I told my fiance, I was like, "You go to bed. I'm waiting for like this." I mean, I told her, I was like, "I'm waiting up for this DeFi protocol to get launched." She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm like, "You know what? It's this nerd shit. Don't worry about it. Just go to bed, honey. I'll see you later," type of thing. And then I was an idiot, right? Because it was like 1:30 and this thing wasn't live. So I felt kind of let down about that, and then it honestly kind of left a sour taste in my mouth because it was a waste of my time, and I really didn't appreciate that. Um, and then I woke up early in the morning, and oh, and by the way, I should also mention, like, as the timer was ticking down to 1, I actually had butterflies in my heart. I felt like this level of excitement that I really wasn't prepared for until like the timer was ticking down. I felt like my heart was like
You were like a part of
pumping.
something, right?
Exactly. And I was like on this Discord thing, and I was like on this live stream. And anyway, so it didn't end up working out that well. But then I woke up early morning Monday to start work, and I went to the protocol, and it was open and it was live. I ended up buying, I don't know, maybe like $1,500 worth of Anchor token, or something like $1,200-$1,500 worth of this Anchor token, because I wanted to just kind of like try it out basically. And in short order within the next like 3 days, and like since the time we've last recorded, and now it's doubled in price. So I've made however much
Nice.
money on it. Now part of the issue is I put that into a liquidity. I've been a liquidity provider for Anchor, so that means that I've been pairing Anchor and UST. And so I've experienced this thing called impermanent loss, which we covered on our last episode. And so, like, while the price of Anchor doubled, I really only reaped 80% of that reward. So, like, I
Yeah.
should have gotten 100%. It's really more like 80%.
It was
Um,
more like 95.
yeah. That's right. So it's more like 95. There's been a little diminish, not that bad. Um, but that's kind of been, that was my experience with, and I want to talk more about Anchor, but anyway, that was my experience about the launch event. So Josh, you fell asleep, right?
I was excited. I wanted to stay up, but it was 3 o'clock Central Time, so that's kind of late. But I'm glad I missed it because I woke up, I started using it. I saw there was an attack, but the price was up. People were providing liquidity, TVL was going up, so I just started using it. Um, Instantly, I bought Luna. Didn't even hesitate. Just I think I didn't even finish my coffee yet. I bought some Luna, turned it into B Luna, which is what the platform uses, and I staked that at it was like 420% at the time I did it. But Luna's up. I'm gaining liquidity rewards and the Anchor token, and then you borrow against, and then I borrowed against it. I just started using the platform. I love it. So I didn't get any sour taste, luckily, because I didn't see the attack.
Do you think you
Luckily,
would have though, Josh? Do you think you would have felt some type of sour grapes if
no,
you would have been up for that?
no, because it was that good and that juicy that someone took the time to plan all this, put all the resources into this, and actually almost get it done. Like they got in before the launch and tried to basically be the first one into the liquidity pool so they can get um, the highest rewards. Like because if you're in first, you're gonna get the best returns. APY
Yeah,
approaches zero over time. Um, so that just tells me that there was demand to get into this thing. People were excited as us, but they're richer and smarter and more malicious. And that tells me like
that's one
there's
way to look at it.
obviously something here.
Well, it also
Yeah,
Um,
that,
it also I
I
mean
did
just for
listen to
them.
Doe's commentary too, by the way.
Let's hear it.
no,
Uh,
Ryan, what were you gonna say? I wanted to hear what you're gonna say.
Well, I was just going to say that just the fact that they did identify the malicious attack and take care of it versus not
Just
taking
say fuck it, you know?
not taking the PR hit. I mean, they didn't have to. They are going to take a little bit of a PR hit, and they did. But
True.
it seems like they did the right thing, is the way it sounds to me. And I'm no
Okay.
coding expert or anything like that. But
No,
he found
I
them.
appreciate that. I
Him and the team
appreciate,
found them, and then they
yeah,
stopped him. They actually fucked with the attacker. If you go back and look at his tweets, he
yeah.
fucked. So it
Yeah,
was pretty
wow,
cool.
he ended up, what he ended up doing was, so the way the bot was working, and I'm gonna fuck this up, so please don't hold me to this like to the T, but the
It
bot
was
was
pretty
just
technical.
buying, the bot was buying at the spot price. So basically like whatever the spot price was. And then I guess Doe, the founder, he was somehow manipulating the price of the thing before it launched. And so the bot was like buying at like a massive premium to what it should have been. So like the scammer actually ended up losing money in that
wow.
way. Josh, maybe I fucked that up, but I
I
don't think,
think you're
I
right.
think that's generally what happened.
Simplified,
Something
yeah.
like that.
I think that sounds good.
Which sounds bad because like how is he able to manipulate? I don't know all the details of it, but
This Twitter was
what,
cool. He was talking about how he was beating up hackers and chopping them up and stuff, and basically outsmarting them. That's just the level like this guy is at. I mean,
yeah. That
he's
was my
been killing it
takeaway.
with his projects,
So how do you guys feel
and
about something that's advertised as DeFi that is there's clearly a level of centralization there if he's
Well,
able
so
to
Ryan, that's
do
you're
that.
getting at what I'm saying as well, which is, what, so like what is that? And again, I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but essentially he changed something so that there was a way for the bot to lose money basically. Um which raises a bunch of questions, right? So like one of them is was there some price manipulation that happened, or how was Doe able to do this? I don't know. My hypothesis, which is just not founded in any real facts, is that Doe maintained a level of control over the protocol up until the point where it went live to the public. So up until the point where it went live to the public, he had control over different variables in the protocol. But the moment that it went live to the public, it was and I am getting some feedback from one of you guys. I'm not sure where that's coming from,
I
but
am too.
yeah, I'm not sure, Eric or Josh, maybe that's on one of your guys' side, but what's that? Yeah, Eric, there we go. Perfect. So once the protocol went live, then maybe at that point, that's when he lost the ability to do any more manipulation. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for, Ryan. But I had the same questions, and like, I don't know everything about this stuff. So I sort of was going into it. I had a little sour grapes feeling in my mouth about it. But then, man, but then afterwards, I talked to Josh and we were talking about it, man. And we can get into this, but what Josh said was like, look, man, you could have like all of your collateral like in so you can do all of your stock investing in Mirror, right? And then you could take your M Tesla from Mirror and you could bring it over to Anchor eventually and use that as collateral and just borrow against your Tesla. And it's all instant.
That's
It's
wild.
24/7. It's 24/7. It's liquid. It's instant. Like, you don't need to wait on anything. It's just boom, 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 boom. And and also just for the purpose of kind of illustrating the value of this. Yeah, here, this is interesting. Well, Josh, I want you to talk about this, but let me finish my point here.
Yes, I want to bring it up. Get it ready.
So when you have margin, right? So like, I have margin in Robinhood, which I regret now that I understand some more things, but I have margin out in Robinhood. Josh, you have margin out in Celsius, right?
And now
In
the
order
Anchor protocol too.
so right, but
Still
let's say
little bit.
that like I get a margin call in Robinhood, but my money, my free money, my risk money is in crypto or in my bank account or somewhere else. Even if it's just in my bank account, my Bank of America bank account, it takes 2 days for my money to transfer from Bank of America into my Robinhood account to cover my margin call. Okay, 2 days. If it's in Bitcoin or crypto, somewhere in the crypto world, even if it's in a stable coin in Coinbase, it takes like a full week, like 7 days to get my money out of Coinbase. First, I've got to convert my stable coin into US dollar, then I got to fucking take it out, Bank of America, then I got to move Bank of America into Robinhood, right?
Slow.
If you have margin out in Anchor protocol and you have your money in like Tesla in the Mirror protocol, if you get margin called, your ability to react to that margin call is literally instantaneous. You can just boom, 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 boom. It's instant. There's no like waiting. There's no like delays. Like, oh, like 2-3 days, the settling, all that stuff. It's not any of that. It's instant. So like that knowing that anytime, 24/7, I'm able to address any issue that comes up with any margin that I have outstanding. And that just fundamentally opens up, it just makes my life like a lot easier to manage
That's yeah.
than, yeah. So
That's
it's just,
such a good
yeah.
point. That I mean, just the speediness of that, and I want to go back to Josh, and because he was going to say what the founders' feedback was. So I want to make sure we get back to that. I think later in the conversation, let's get to your comment about the regret of the margin in
Hmm.
Robinhood. Let's get back to that maybe a little bit later. But I want to tell a quick story from this week that reminded me of. I have an interactive brokers account, and I don't do any margin trading at all for anything. But I have an interactive brokers account, and I decided I wanted to change my individual account to a joint account, just just because I wanted to with my family and whatnot. So I called them and I couldn't figure out how to get the money to move around in between accounts. And I actually had the accounts connected to one another where I could sign in, same sign in, everything. And I could even click on a button that said transfer from one account to another, but I couldn't get it to work. And so I called Interactive Brokers, which waited on hold for 2 hours, finally talked to somebody. And the guy was great. Talked to somebody really knowledgeable, and but the answer sucked. He goes, well, you have two options. Neither one are good. He said, your first option is we could transfer the money from your individual account to your joint account, and it would take 8 weeks. And he said, if you don't want to wait 8 weeks, your second best option is to transfer money out to your bank account as an ACH transfer or a wire transfer, and to do another ACH transfer or wire transfer back into your new account, which would have taken a total of 2 weeks plus the clearing of the funds
Oh my
once they got
God,
back
dude.
into the account. So you think about this, and like I because you guys love Anchor so much, I always have to be the devil's advocate. So like I
Of
always have to be
course,
the
of
one.
course.
I have to be the one that's like, well, are we sure? And like I'm not sold yet on what you're describing about Mirror or Anchor.
Yep,
But if this is what the future looks like when we
yep,
vet all this out and figure all this out and this works and it's decentralized and there's not this way for some central person to own this stuff and it does and it works the way you're describing, the future
right.
is freaking awesome.
Right.
It's
Because
awesome.
and it's gonna feel and it's gonna Ryan, and
Yeah.
exactly. And it's going to feel like so archaic that we had to wait multiple days. It
Yeah.
will be equivalent to, when the stock market used to be, people would be on the floor, on the trading floor, and they would be buying and selling stocks with paper. Josh, remember when we were at the University of Minnesota and we studied, we took that derivatives class from that guy, I forget his name, Usset, and he was a pit trader. The stock market wasn't always
Yeah,
electronic.
and they're like
They
writing
used
it
to have,
down.
dude, they
Yeah.
used to have pits where
Yeah.
people were, and there was a etiquette, and people would lock eye contact, and it would be like, oh, buy and sell different share price. Now looking back on it, that sounds so archaic, like, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
trust? Like, there were trades that were made just based on trust of the eye contact and the
Yeah.
and the this
Yeah.
was like this was a buy and this was a sell or something like that. And it sounds ridiculous, and looking back on it now, and I think this, Ryan, what you just described, that's exactly what we're gonna think about 10-15 years from now. Is like, what do you mean you had to wait 2 weeks to control your money? Like, no, that should just be instant. You should be able to instantly control your money. So that, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the stuff that gets my blood like boiling. Is like, dude. And then
It's
what's crazy
ridiculous.
is
Yeah.
this already is working, but it's not working. And like, one of the things I want to get into, whether it's today or like a future podcast, is it's not yet ready for public consumption. Like, people aren't ready to like go to KuCoin to buy UST and like do all this
No,
wallet stuff
it
and all
doesn't
this,
make
like,
sense yet.
no, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, no.
Yeah.
But it works
Yeah.
right now. But you have to jump through hoops that most people aren't willing to go through. So that's kind of thing. But anyway, I want to go back to, you were asking Josh a question and we went off
I
on a
do. I
tangent.
do want to get to Josh's point, but you went through a lot of things, Nick, kind of rat-a-tat-tat, and there's a lot of people that are listening that some of the things we're sharing are foreign to them. And so there's one other thing that you said that I just want to repeat before we get to Josh's comments from the founder. But there's one thing that you said about potentially having, for example, a Tesla stock in Anchor or let's say it's in Anchor and you can borrow against this Tesla
Yes.
stock. Like
Yes.
there could be a future where your currency is a stock and you could use it as such to buy a house. You could use it as
Yes.
such to buy dinner tonight. You could have a card that you could have a credit card that you could be paying off of your Tesla stock, for example.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
I'm not sure that's the direction that we want to go, but I think I I think the magnitude of what we're talking about of when something like Anchor works, and I don't know if Anchor is the one that works, but when this works in the future, it's going to completely transition
Yeah,
the
dude.
way we think about money, the way we spend, the way. I mean, imagine when Tesla says, "Oh, you can actually buy a Tesla by borrowing from your Tesla stock," Nick. You know what I mean? Like, go ahead and pay with whatever this money transfer after borrowing from your Tesla stock. That's crazy. Like there's people that are listening to this right now. They're like, I can't even imagine that. But that's a new reality where every asset that can be, I guess, tokenized or whatever the right terminology is now an asset that you can use as
Use as
collateral.
collateral. Yes.
Exactly. Which
It's
is
already
amazing.
happening.
It's amazing.
Already happening.
It's amazing.
The bonded is what they call it over in Anchor. They call it bonded assets, and there's only one right now just to prove the concept, and it's Luna. It's Terra's governance token, and it works. Once you're in UST world, once you're in Terra's ecosystem, you bond Luna to their through one of their validators, and it's just like Mir. It pegs to the price of Terra Luna, and you get to provide that B Luna, bonded Luna, as collateral, and you can borrow against it.
Are any of
And
you
it
guys like
works.
doing the Luna staking?
Yep. So that's the staking, and I'm earning 300% on that staking right
Yeah, 'cause
now.
on
And
staking it said there was like a 40% staking on the app. The
Josh, you need to help me with that. You need to help me with that because I
I
got a
can
bunch of
show you
Luna.
right now. It's so intuitive. Once you
Yeah,
start
dude.
doing it,
Ryan,
it's so
you should
intuitive.
not. You
But
should
you
not
gotta
be.
get into the Q coin, into UST world.
Yeah,
Once you're in
I
UST
have it
world,
sitting in.
you won't
I
want
have
to
it sitting in
leave.
KuCoin.
You,
Yeah,
no, dude, you got to get
No,
that. You got to put that to work, man.
you're
You
in
got to
Q
get that
Yeah.
coin
working.
for
yeah,
like
it's
a
silly.
minute. All you're doing is you're exchanging into the UST world. Once you're in, you won't want to get out. I'm telling you.
Which, by the way, Ryan. So once you're into,
You should have kept your Luna though, because you could have played with
no,
that
he
too.
has Luna. He has Luna.
I still have it. I took profit because I
Oh,
wanted to take profit, but I still have it.
do you have the Terra wallet?
No. So is that the first thing I have to do? Is I have to get the Terra wallet?
That's the first
What?
thing, and then you don't even need to be in KuCoin anymore. You can actually just move your Luna from your KuCoin account to your
Right.
Terra
You don't
wallet.
even have to mess with Q coin.
You
Can
got
I
to just
trade?
move that over to your wallet.
But can I trade it easily though? Because I want to be
You
able to
can.
be in a
You
position to
can.
trade it if I
Absolutely, you
need.
can. You absolutely can. So what you're gonna do then from there? Oh, it's trade it into what, Ryan?
So I would trade it into Bitcoin at some point.
So
You
what
can do
you would
bare
do?
actually,
Bitcoin.
Bittrex
You could.
has UST too.
You
can
don't
do
need to
Alright,
do
that.
so
mere Bitcoin. You can do real Bitcoin. All you got to do is convert it into UST first. So you're going to turn it into a Luna. You're going to turn it into a stable coin, UST, the stable coin on Terra. Then you're going to move your UST back into KuCoin. And you're going to buy Bitcoin with it instantly. And all that is going to take
all right.
literally like 1 minute, 2 minutes tops.
So if I
to do
want to,
all that.
so what they call staking is actually called bonding in Anchor. Is that right?
You
Is that
bond then stake.
Josh, why don't we take this as an
yeah?
opportunity? Can you go back to sharing your screen on what you're sharing your screen on the Anchor protocol?
Is there? Do you guys see it?
Let's go through it. Why don't you just walk us through like how this thing is supposed to work?
Josh,
Can you?
do you want me to show you? Do you want me to show mine since I have a blank screen that doesn't have any of your personal information, or do you not care?
This is fine. This is just a
Okay.
little like it's just a little like
Okay.
demonstration here.
All
So
right.
can you guys see this over here? This wallet
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so this is the Terra station right here, and it's one address. All your Terra coins, just one address. Whether it's UST, you see this AUST, Luna, B Luna, ANC, all the mirrored assets.
You
they'll
can think
show
of
up.
this. You can think
Yep,
of this
I
as
got it.
like picture a real world wallet that has like
Yep.
a $20 bill, $100 bill, a couple pennies, like different values. But the
Yep.
idea is like different types of currency, right? As a part of that.
I just
On it.
I just added the wallet through Google Chrome. This is going to
Cool.
sound like an
Perfect.
advertisement for Anchor. This is not an advertisement for Anchor, but I'm glad
No.
to be learning.
We're not.
Dude.
We're not advertising Anchor.
We're not like we have nothing to. We didn't invest in them except
Yeah.
we just use the platform and we like it. Like that's why we can't stop talking about it. We actually use
Well,
it.
we
like
haven't
it.
even started. We haven't even started talking about Anchor. We've been talking about Mirror, which we really like. Mirror. Anchor is a new protocol that just came out on the Terra ecosystem, the Terra blockchain, and we're just kind of getting into Anchor and talking through, what how it's supposed to be used and stuff. So
I like. There's just so much I can go into here. Do you guys want to
just
go into
vomit, dude.
collateralization and
Go high level
'cause you
for me
get-
first. What
get-
earn,
High
borrow,
level.
bond, go? Yeah, do that
Boom,
first.
boom, boom.
Okay. Earn. If you have UST, which I have, I'll do it for you real quick. Deposit. Do you guys see this right here?
Yeah.
I'm gonna deposit. Let's do most of it. Let's do 190. Proceed.
So there was like
It
a
will.
dollar something fee. Was that what that was? A dollar fee?
You'll
Yeah,
see
we'll
it
be
here
able
in
to
a
see it when
second,
we're done.
Ryan.
Do you guys see this other screen that's showing?
No.
Yeah, we can. Oh
Oh,
no,
No, we
okay,
don't.
I can
just
show this. I can actually show this because you won't see my
There we go.
password or
I
anything.
can see it. I can see it.
So you see it?
Yep.
So there's my Terra station. That's your Google extension wallet. I'm using Brave, but it's the same thing. Chrome extension. I mean, but it'll ask you for your password. Put it in. Transaction. This is how long it takes. This is the
You stop
full
sharing,
transaction.
Josh.
Right here.
You got to share your screen again.
Oh, it's done. It's already done. So what was that? A second? 2 seconds?
Share
It's
your
already-
share Anchor again, because it.
You guys
Yeah, there
see
we
it?
go.
Okay, so
Yep.
here's the total fee. I paid $1.50 for that transaction. So deposit. Now I'm earning 21% interest on that deposit.
Now, this is supposed to be one of the features of Anchor, which is the stable APY, interest rate as a savings account. So this 21% on just the stablecoin UST, it's supposed to be very stable around this, whatever it's at right now. It's supposed to be pretty fucking stable right around that 20% mark.
So
So
it's
Ryan,
paying.
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
It's-
you go ahead.
It's
We're
So
paid
it's-
right now.
It's paying you in UST though, so it's paying you in the stable coin.
dollars.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not
Basically
paying
dollars.
because that's what always bothers me is when they pay
that
you
it's-
in the Anchor coin or they pay you
Or
in
the
some weird
the
coin.
blah blah blah. Yeah.
Then you got to sell it once a
Which-
month or claim it
You
or
can sell it
and that's-
daily, or it's a little tedious. But if you actually believe in the Anchor, I would prefer to get paid in Anchor because
In Anchor maybe, but Ryan, what you're talking about
Early.
is in general,
Yeah.
whether you're talking about Pancake Swap or you're talking about something else, they're
Ooh.
paying you interest in their native coin,
Yeah.
governance coin, which we Josh, you and I were having a really interesting conversation earlier today about how, like, dude, all of these lots of these projects are being like, yeah, we'll pay you this interest rate, but it's in our governance coin. And it's like, oh, this governance is for voting on like our protocol. And it's like, what the fuck are you voting on? Like,
Yeah.
it's meaningless shit.
The-
This
the
is
idea-
worthless.
No, the idea of having a swap and a place
average
to
person.
provide liquidity for these future tokens and projects is a good thing. Let's
Yes.
not get that wrong. That's a good thing and it's forward thinking. But none of those tokens, like Nick just said, are worth a damn. They're just governance tokens
none
for
of
more
them.
swaps.
But a lot of them.
Most of them. I'm not gonna say none because most are shit.
Well, and the way you get to mass adoption is not through people having that. It's through people saying, okay, it's through my dad coming to me and being like, wait a second, so you're telling me if I put my money in here, it's going to pay me 21% APY,
Exactly.
and it's going to pay me in dollars. I need to be able to answer yes, 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 and
Yes.
if there's any no's, he's out. That's how you get to mass adoption.
Ryan, and like I've become more and more as I've gotten deeper down this rabbit hole, I've become more and more like focused on that exact sequence of events, because that's the difference between Anchor being worth, what is it, Josh, 7 billion fully diluted to a trillion, right? Or what, like 100 billion, 500 billion. Like it's the difference. It's a night and day. It's a total night and day difference. Like, is it
Yeah.
reasonable to the regular people, or is it not? And like once it is, then we're talking about something that could like fundamentally change like our lives. Like it could
Right.
change the systems that we use to like on day-to-day interactions. It could change how we function as a society. But we
Exactly.
have to like get there, and we have to recognize like where we're at right now, which is we're still dealing with like KuCoin, and you
Yeah.
gotta do the KuCoin of the UST and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going, Josh.
We need
If
we
we
need
So you
like
were
just
we
if
need
we were in
like
South
Cash
Korea,
App
we
to.
didn't have to do that shit. It's
Okay.
because
what's that?
we're
Yeah.
in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we were in South Korea, right there, which that's what all this is. This is built in South Korea.
Josh, how often does the interest earn hit? Is it daily? Is it monthly? What is it?
This is annual percentage yield.
No, I mean,
So
how often does it hit your account? Does it hit it
like
once
how
per day?
often
Once
this grows, like
It's
if I
second
had
by the
10 grand in
second,
there,
right?
it'd
by the
be
second?
going up every minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you withdrew right now, would you have like you put 190 in
Yep.
and they took so it says
$1.50.
it says that your interest earned is $1.44. Does that mean
That
you
was
actually
no, that's from before, and I've already collected
Oh,
that.
okay.
That's
Oh,
from
okay.
before.
So that must just be a running log of like all the interest that you're earning
Okay.
on the platform.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right,
And,
gotcha.
and the cool thing here is pull it out whenever you need, send it off, go spend it, exchange
So
it.
I think what they're going to try to do with this, hang on, Josh, can you go back to earn for a second? And I've noticed this too, because when the protocol first launched, that APY, and Ryan, you might remember this too, because you asked this question. It was at 30%. And you were like, is
Yeah.
30% going to be sustainable? Thing
Yeah.
is, so my thought was like, probably not. It's going to go lower. It's been at 20% now for a week. And that green line that they've got, I think the intention is for that to remain relatively flat. So
Since
earlier
Wednesday.
I was thinking that the APY was going to be more like 10%. Now I think it's going to be more like 20%. So if you park your stable coin in Anchor, I think for a long time out in the future, I could see this being a 20% APY, and that's just being paid out in stable coin,
Could I
which is
get
just
paid out?
equivalent to $1.
Could I get paid out in synthetic Bitcoin or set it to change my UST for a synthetic Bitcoin?
You'd have to swap it.
Where would you swap it at? Can you do it on the
Terra swap.
platform?
So not on Anchor specifically, Ryan, but you do it within the Terra ecosystem. So Josh, could you pull up TerraSwap?
Yep. You could do it on Mir too, actually.
You can buy MBTC though.
Oh, you want real Bitcoin?
Well, I said synthetic.
Yeah.
I mean, I I would love real Bitcoin if I can get it, but I didn't think
You,
you can't get real Bitcoin on Terra though, can you?
you no, so and that's because we were talking about. Remember, you guys were talking about that synthetic Tesla and being able to
Yeah.
use that as liquidity down the road.
Yeah.
So you stay in the Terra platform. So if you use MBTC, my guess is Terra's Bitcoin is going to be your collateral in the future.
I see.
So
I see.
so you're going to have to change it into Terra's BTC, whether that's MBTC or if it's going to be like BTC.
But basically, what you do, Ryan, is so like let's
And
say
that's on
that
this
Josh.
page. That's on. I'll show this page because that's since we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So right now, the only collateral is B Luna, and I'm expecting this list to grow with your MBTC, M Tesla, M Ether. Any synthetic that is within Terra's ecosystem will start showing up down here as a collateral, and this part's awesome to me. This part's really cool because depending on the need for it, this is all Luna. So this is just B Luna. I have 2,900 of B Luna, and I'm making 300% on it right now because it's I don't know why, to be honest. I could make something up real quick and
Well,
and guess, but
yeah, I'm holding a good amount of Luna right now.
I'll send it here,
So
dude, because this. I
yeah,
don't see this
I might as
message.
well.
Yeah.
I mean, versus having it on KuCoin. I mean, KuCoin's you know, I hate to throw anybody under the bus, but it's not one of the most secure exchanges, I would guess, that I'm personally using when I
It was
compare it to
hacked
Yeah.
last night.
Coinbase or Binance or
Yeah.
things like that. So
I would move it over here, Ryan, in a heartbeat.
yeah. Well, I'm setting up my wallet right now. It says it's initializing right now, and I might. So
it's easy
I'm
to
gonna do it.
it's easy to get set up, man. And one of the
So
things here is, so right now the only collateral, so it says collateral list. The list is just one fucking thing, and it's B Luna. Okay. Eventually, and this is one of the things I want to talk about, is eventually they'll add more. We think our hypothesis is that there will be governance votes for other forms of collateral. So like you'll vote on whether like M Tesla could be a form of collateral, and then it will have to pass a community voting mechanism, right, to
I
become a
wonder
part
how
of the
that's gonna work.
collateral. Yeah, we don't know. This is
Dude,
one of the unknowns that I
this is
have.
in this is
It's
insane though,
insane
guys. I
because
mean,
Ryan, dude,
300%.
man. Well,
Like
so the 300%, I wouldn't get too bogged down with that. That's gonna be
It'll approach.
that's gonna it will approach a smaller number. It will
Yes.
never get approached. Like Josh earlier said, it will approach zero. That's not true. It will not approach zero.
10
Because
years, it might. Who knows? If
no,
we're at negative interest rates, you never know.
no, because you should always be well, this isn't providing
We
liquidity.
don't
This
know.
is
It'll just go lower. We'll just say that. It depends on, I think, the distribution of the anchor token, because if you go over here, this is where you're actually paid the rewards for that, and you're paid in ANC. So that section is actually different. This hasn't loaded yet.
okay, so I'm not paid in Luna. So if I want to get paid in the 300%,
You're
what I
getting paid
do
in
is
ANC.
so I put it in my Luna or my Terra wallet.
Yep.
I go into bond, and bond is
correct.
essentially like a stake,
Yep.
and
You
I'm
mint it.
minting Luna for B Luna.
Yes.
I'm minting it. Then what?
You pick a validator, and I went to their list of validators and just picked one towards the top that had lots of volume and people trusted.
What's a validator?
Those are folks who run the Terra network.
It's like a node.
Yep. So their proof, are they D proof of stake? Man, we should know this. They're proof of stake.
They are proof of stake, yeah.
Yeah. So they got validators, and I use B Harvest for mine.
So where do you see that at? Is it a different website?
No,
No.
it's right here.
Oh yeah. Go to.
You can't select it, Josh, because you don't have anything in the Luna. So like Ryan, if you were to put something in that Luna, then you'd be able to select a validator. But that's grayed out because Josh doesn't have anything in there. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you'd need to
right
put
there. Do you
in
see that? Do you guys see this list?
no.
Oh, yeah, I can see the whole list. When you go to mint, your Luna into B Luna, that's where you do it.
Oh, okay. So then what's burn and claim?
That's when you go back to
Convert back
Luna,
to Luna.
Okay, so all right. So okay, gotcha.
and when
And then
it's ready,
claim.
here's before you do this, they take 21 days to process.
Oh wow.
So
So if I stake Luna, or if I bond Luna, I gotta bond it for at least 21 days.
no, you will be waiting 21 days. I'm just reading that.
Wow. To go
Full,
back.
yeah.
So if I
Yeah.
wanted to sell Luna, um,
Oh, they have instant burn. You can try that one. I read about this instant burn. I think there's
Probably
slippage on that one.
Yes.
There's price slippage with the
wow.
instant burn.
Why would it be 21 days?
Oh,
Well,
you know what? I'm gonna try
It's-
the Instaburn just to see
it's
what it does.
probably a mechanism to not let it get too sloshy. I would think.
But
I would
21
think that
days?
It's the slippage, yeah.
that's a lot of time. I agree.
21
That's a
days
lot of time.
doesn't feel right. It kind of goes back
No,
to what we were talking about earlier. That's kind of like
I know.
the old way of doing it.
I'm actually gonna run through it once and see what happens.
Okay.
Let's
I
do
need
it.
to
Let's do
repay.
it. Let's do it live, man.
Okay. So I got to go
Let's do
over
it
on
live.
Mirror, and I'm selling a little bit of my
Can you
Tesla
show
a
us,
little bit.
Josh?
Yeah, I can show this.
Why do you have to go on Mirror now?
Cause I'll actually go back to here real quick. So in my borrow section, do you guys see this? Are you
Yes.
seeing Anchor? So I provided 2,900 of the B Luna, right? And I did borrow, and I set up $800 worth, right? So I'm borrowing 55% of the max that I can borrow. I can borrow up to 1439. So I borrowed this
Okay.
800. It went up into my wallet here, into $800 of USD, and then basically I brought it over to Mir, which uses the same wallet. Can you guys see this wallet up here?
Yep.
Wow.
That's the same wallet because it's all in the Terra ecosystem.
And Josh, when you say brought it over to Mirror, all you did is log into Mirror.
You
right?
went to a different website.
Yeah,
All you did
this
is
is a
log into
different
Mirror,
tab.
and
If you
you
guys
didn't even
can see
log
my
in.
tabs,
You just
no,
opened.
Yeah.
no,
Mirror.
there's no login. Right, I
Yeah,
just opened the tab. I got a
and
bunch.
Josh, so can you go back real quick to Anchor?
Yep.
So what's the interest rate you're paying on what you borrowed here, just to close the loop on this?
So on the collateral, I'm earning 369.
Uh-huh.
That's the distribution APR. That's from Anchor coming in.
Uh-huh.
And on my $800 that I borrowed, that's right here. So
31.
31% they're charging me for a net 269.
So when you take it back to all right, so when you take it back to Mir, what's the math you're doing? Because it seems really complicated to me to figure out what the
What
net.
math?
Well, because you could have earned 300% distribution APR. Instead, you use some as collateral, and that collateral
Thir-
you borrowed, and you're paying 31%
On that 80,
on the
800.
on the dollars you borrowed, and you must have done that because you assume you're going to make more money at Mir. So I'm just trying to figure out like
Yeah.
how you did the math is what I'm trying to figure out. Because
Bitcoin go
there's
up.
multiple
I
numbers
bought.
here.
Yeah, Ryan, you're asking. This is exact, dude.
Yeah.
Dude, and wait, hold on. Let me just pause for a second, right? Let me just pause because what we're going through right now, like live, like what we're going through, is exactly the series of questions, and also like I don't know that we're gonna get through all of them, but this is the line of questioning that we go through to feel out different projects, and like I think hopefully what you're gathering is we don't know all the answers, but Ryan, like what you're asking and what you're probing on is exactly what we like to probe on because I'm heavily invested in Mirror specifically, but also just Terra as an ecosystem. And so we're not looking at this from like glasses like tint, rose tinted glasses. It's really trying to understand what's actually going on, where are the risk vectors, and also like how is this whole thing working together. So like what you're asking, we want to lean into that. And
Yeah.
Josh, like I'm sure I'm speaking for both of us when we say like we really want to lean into this because it's so key and like you're hitting on some of like the most important things. So anyway, let's
Well,
keep going here.
I need your Excel sheet that you made last week. Like you guys both made some like really nice Excel sheets the last couple of weeks where you did the math of like if this happens, this is
Yeah.
the net
So-
gains. Like I'm trying to do that math
So
right
you're
now in my
asking a
head.
simple
Yeah.
you're asking a simple question, right? So it's
Yeah.
why would you even bring your money over to Mirror if
Why would you
if you could
borrow it? Yeah.
why would you borrow it if you could just earn this 300% as
Yeah.
opposed to the 269 net? And then now you're
Yeah.
saying you're bringing this over to Mirror. So anyway, Josh, continue on.
So what's the
But
question?
well, so go back to Anchor for a second. So I actually want to poke around this as well. I've got a question on this too. So this net APR, right? This 273. Or actually not even the net, just the distribution APR, that 305%. Can I earn that just by, like, if let's say I don't borrow anything, let's say all I do is I lock up bonded Luna, do I earn 305% APR?
Um, dude,
I
I
do,
did.
right? I don't have to borrow anything.
The thing is, I did that, right? So I played around with it. I took out a loan. I took out 700 and earned a little bit of ANC, and then I paid it back. And just to see what happened, it was all really smooth. Um, but when I paid it back, this reward stopped going up. This is my reward I'm getting from that Luna staking, right? And so it goes up.
Okay,
Like every time I hit
so
refresh, this goes up, but it stopped going up when I paid back the loan.
so you're saying
So
I can't just deposit, I can't just stake my bonded Luna here and earn 305%.
I don't know. It didn't go up for me. So you'd think it would. Like maybe there's a glitch or something. I don't know. It just
This
stopped
But
going up.
that's okay. But hold on, we're not trying to attack and jump down any vector here. I think it's more about exploration and trying to figure out.
yeah.
So,
Well,
but this
100%.
is interesting. But this is interesting, and so we're trying to work through it. I'm sure there's a code based thing, and we're trying to figure it out. But these are some of the hitches that we're finding here. So maybe we need to play around with this. Maybe I need to play around with this to figure this
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Play around. All I know is I'm earning the anchor over there, and you can convert it back into UST, whatever.
So let's just get beyond. So okay, so for now let's pause on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
why can't I just stake my bonded Luna, earn 305%. So let's just say we understand that we have to borrow in order to earn this net APR of 273, right? So
I think
then
so.
we're gonna so then we're gonna take the borrowed money and we're gonna go invest in Tesla or Bitcoin on Mirror. So and then Josh, we were gonna walk through how do we pay off this loan.
Yeah. So why don't I just borrow a little more? I'm gonna borrow 200 more, just so it's worth it here. Oh, we'll do 130. See, they got a safe loan to value here, like 35. See it?
That's awesome. Yeah,
And
that's
then
really
max up here, and like all this is instant. You get to see the liquidity. Whereas we talked about this earlier. Just quick side note. You can do these loans and stuff in Celsius and BlockFi, but they take time, and the transparency there is none. There's almost no transparency. You don't know how much collateral they have. Whereas here you can see it on Terra's website, and I got it's called I think it's called Bridge Terra Money. But you can see the TVL, the market cap. Um, you basically just see all the liquidity, and to me that's important. I want to make sure that there's enough collateral for these guys, so there's not an issue. Um,
It feels like there's an opportunity to, and I imagine if I was seeing this for the first time, this would rock my world to think like, okay, I'm just going to go into this thing. I'm going to borrow $200. It's going to take like 5 seconds for me to do that. And then
yeah.
I'm going to move it somewhere else. I'm going to, the thing is, it feels like there's an opportunity to game the system if you know what you're doing. Um, which I use that, I don't use that negatively. It just seems like if you know what you're doing, these numbers are so huge, that it makes me feel like my measly 8% or whatever in BlockFi that I'm missing out.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man. I actually think that we probably are missing out. But
oh yeah, you guys are
also
missing out.
but also but Ryan, also the thing
Thanks,
is,
Josh.
dude, but also the thing is you can't own, to your point, you can't own real Bitcoin through Terra, through the Terra blockchain. So if you want real Bitcoin because you want the, and Josh, like we haven't really cracked into this too much, but owning
and this is the Mickey D's burger versus the porterhouse. The real
dude,
Bitcoin is the porterhouse,
owning,
but there's still value in a Mickey D's burger. People still eat it. It's still
but
a
man,
valid business.
owning synthetic Bitcoin isn't helpful to, and this is important, this is really important. Owning synthetic Bitcoin isn't helpful to people who own Bitcoin. You're not pushing the price of Bitcoin up. You're just buying a synthetic
Well, people
version of
debate
it.
that
So,
because people arbitrage, right? People arbitrage. I'm going to show this tab here. I know we've showed
but
this before, but
and you can't
it,
move it to a cold storage. It's not the same, man. It's not the same thing. So there's
it's
still
not.
value.
Um, I'm with you on that. But you can
There's
see
still
Bitcoin
value.
today. There's actually a premium versus real Bitcoin.
And there's one
1.6,
more to,
1.96.
to Nick's point. It's not only Bitcoin. Like I just saw AMC and I assume GameStop's on here as well. Like I was just thinking about the Reddit group, when Robinhood paused buying, right? And I imagine them like I imagine somebody saying, "Oh wow, we can all go to Mirror and we can buy Bitcoin there." And then everyone's like, "Yeah, but we're not sticking it to the man there. Like you're not going to short
Yes.
squeeze GameStop
Yes.
through
Yes.
Mirror." And
Ryan, yes, exactly.
and that's
Yep.
there's something here that we talked about earlier that's so beautiful about what we're seeing here. And there's just like these little things that we gotta find a way
Gotta gotta
to get
kind of work
past.
through. So
Yeah.
you've got it then at that point, so right, exactly. At that point it becomes, you basically are like, all right, well, so it's a you're weighing different situations. So you're weighing pros and cons. So on Robinhood, the cons are it takes way longer. Like even though we just looked at the staking and the bonded Luna, it takes 21 days. Aside from that, like let's say that I'm providing liquidity and Anchor for ANSI and UST, I can take my money out of there. I can sell my Anchor, bring it in UST, bring it over to Mirror and buy Tesla stock, mirrored Tesla stock, synthetic Tesla, and I can do it in less than 60 seconds. And if I want to deposit collateral in Anchor and I want to borrow UST stablecoin and I want to go buy Tesla or Bitcoin, mirrored Tesla or mirrored Bitcoin and Mirror, that also takes 60 seconds. And then the reverse is true as well. So if I want to sell my Bitcoin or my Tesla stock on Mirror and I want to pay off a loan because I get a margin call or something, I can do that instantly. I mean, it literally takes less than 60 seconds to do that. So where the downsides are is like there are downsides. You can't get you won't get dividends. So like eventually if Tesla has a dividend payout, like if I own mirrored Tesla, I won't receive any dividends. Um, Bitcoin, you can't move it to a cold storage. I'm sure you can move it to a cold storage, but it's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's not actual
Right.
Bitcoin.
Right.
So that's meaningful. To a little guy though, I would argue that it's not as meaningful as you would want it to be or as you'd hope for it to be. Because you can still move your mirrored Bitcoin to a cold wallet, to a cold storage, but you're not owning Bitcoin. But like to a little guy, does it really matter? You're not really moving the price if you own like $50,000 worth of Bitcoin. It's a $1 trillion asset class at this point.
You know what it reminds me
So
of? I I saw like I'm looking at Nick's property behind him right there and like all the beautiful homes in San Francisco area and I think about something I saw on Twitter today. The largest, help me because I might not be saying this right. I think it's called Decentraland. It's the Mana, MANA, uh virtual space. Is that right, Eric? Did I get that right? I saw you shaking your head. I saw well I saw I saw that there was a land that was purchased for I think $320,000 or something like that. But like, there's always going to be a difference between purchasing a decentralized land in a virtual video game space versus the property that Nick's sitting on right now that looks beautiful, behind him. And that's the way I see Bitcoin. It's this property that you own. And if you want this
Yeah.
virtual thing over here, great. Maybe that's for you, and maybe you can use it for your benefit, but it's not the same. So we got
I
to
think
get
that
through that.
I think that's right, Ryan. I do. I think that that's right.
So
But
there's this thing,
you
it's
know,
called Earth 2, and some of my friends have already bought land and they're making profits off of this. So basically it's like the whole world is chopped up into little blocks, and like you can go in and like you can buy different areas. Um let's see. If you get in close enough, it will be like you can buy these tiles.
Do you buy it for a specific
can you
reason?
share
Like,
can you share
it,
your screen, Eric?
you can see it on Twitch right now.
Oh yeah, you
I
can
think
see it
that's
on
the only
Twitch.
place we can see. Yeah, I think that's the only place we
Yeah,
can see it.
yeah, I could I'll just show it
So
on
Oh,
why
I
Twitch
see
would
it.
right now.
somebody do that?
But see, if
So what?
so just to buy these little blocks right here, this would be like just that is like 525 bucks
What
or
the
something like that.
hell are you talking about, dude? What the fuck is this? I'm
Yeah, you can
serious,
go on
man. What the fuck is this,
For
you can go
what?
on the shit and you can like
dude?
you can buy the whole
What?
Bay Bridge
This
right
is just
now. You could buy this. It's a
okay.
Google Maps that you can go in and you can buy it. Someone actually bought all this stuff. I was thinking
Wow.
about buying this
No
whole the
way,
you
dude.
could buy the whole bridge for 7K, and then like as people buy into it and stuff, like the
See, man,
property goes.
this to me, this is classic like NFT madness, dude. This is
Yeah, I think
just
so too.
But
people
as people
being
buy land
so
around you, it
dumb,
makes your
dude.
land go up in value, and it's like people can't sell the land, they can only buy the land, and you can like sell it to other people. So
Whatever, man. This is
it's
so
pretty nuts, but
fucking weird.
it's pretty tight too. I won't like one of my friends, he already made a bunch of money. He already like doubled his money on buying some land.
Wow.
Really?
So you
Wow.
just go in
Damn.
there and you buy like the national monuments or something, like something like
Huh.
like a little
Wow.
Weird,
bit more about.
Interesting.
but it's only recognized within that ecosystem. Like you could make a whole other ecosystem that does the same thing and
So like
have.
their plan is to take the whole world and make it into like a VR world,
Oh, that'd be
and like
cool.
and you're gonna own the land, the virtual land.
Now, okay, so that makes it a little different for me. As long as it's not just like a Google Maps where it's like I own this piece of the Google Maps. But if if it's a VR world and there's a video game inside of that with like value in there,
Right.
then I could see that being potentially valuable.
So
I could
yeah,
see that
that's the
I should
plan.
say I could see that being valuable, period, you know.
Yeah.
Hey fellas, we're going to be winding down here, but I want to get through what Josh was talking about here, what he's showing us. I want to understand this burn and instant burn a little bit more, and we are also going to talk about Bitcoin a little bit before
Ah,
we jump off.
yeah. Well,
So Josh,
also I
what have you been
wanted to
working
So
on? Oh,
so I just repaid back this loan here. I sold a little Mir Tesla to pay it back. And right now I'm trying to. Okay, I gotta withdraw it because I was trying to see if we could do the Insta burn and get back into regular Luna. Let's see. So I'm
Is
withdrawing
this a
all of
taxable,
it.
Josh? Are you earning a profit on this?
I am, but just a little guy, and I have enough tax loss. I want to know this, so I'm gonna do it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
you
But
know what I
just for
mean.
the audience, this is actually costing Josh money to do this because there is some tax implications to what we're doing here.
Yeah, it'll be like, and with all the fees and stuff, it might be up to like, I don't know. But I won't have any taxes though because of I
Your
got some
losses,
losses
right?
I got to use.
Yeah.
So that costed 50 cents to do that. So my collateral's gone. I withdrew my B Luna. My B Luna is here, 133.
now the only way you can sell your B Luna is if you burn it to Luna,
Okay. Okay.
right? Is that right?
Yeah. That's right.
Instant burn. So let's look at the slippage. I'm not gonna do this.
Why?
Why am I only getting 130 Luna? Look at the price. So there's some slippage. So what if I did slow burn?
Default Luna
One Luna
redemptions.
per. See that? Look at that. Wow. So I'll lose
But 21 days.
4.
At least 21 days.
So
What's the
so
price
Josh,
of Luna right now?
I just don't understand that. Like,
$21. $21.
Oh my God. So it'll be like $70 to just
to
do it.
do the instant
To
burn.
do the instant.
Yeah, man.
This needs to change. This is BS.
How could it be 21 days? How could it be at least 21 days? That does not make any sense. Is
What-
there anything in the governance, Josh, that would explain that? The governance documents? Hmm,
We should.
Yes. Yes, Eric, exactly.
that's a good point.
That that's why that's why the ANC token is going to be very valuable, is because this protocol has a lot of potential, but it really just depends on. I want to talk about this more, but we really don't have
Yeah,
time to get into
yeah,
more of it.
yeah. We're gonna have to jump off here pretty soon, and we promise the audience we're gonna talk about Bitcoin a little bit.
Yeah. We should convert over. But wait, let's wrap this let's wrap this topic up. So, you know, even though that there are some hitches as you're noticing here, it's still a vastly advanced system. Even though it's more a little bit more complicated here and there are still some issues. This
I'm
has
gonna
the
restake it.
potential. This has the potential to be very disruptive. We'll just put it that way. Um, and I mean, I know that I'm super excited about using this more and more. And we'll need to talk through these issues more on a future podcast, because we don't want to just shy away from the issues. Like, if there are issues, we want to kind of lean into those as opposed to acting like everything is perfect. Not everything is perfect. There are still issues that we can see. Um, but I think the future that we're headed towards is what I was saying earlier, which is like no wait times for moving your money around anywhere in the financial stack, which just means from savings account to investing to margin to debt to paying off that debt back to savings account. All that shit should just be instant, and you should not need to wait, and there shouldn't need to be any holding period where you're sort of like at the mercy of like a centralized company that basically is controlling your money and basically telling you what you can and cannot do with it. So I think we're headed that way, but there are still some like things that we need to get through on our way there. But Anchor and Mirror and what they're doing in the Terra ecosystem is they're trying to build out the full stack of financial tools that exist. And I think they're well on their way to doing that, which is just super exciting. And if they're able to do it, the upside is just like, it's hard to calculate. It's hard to really put into terms. But it is weird, and one of the things that we haven't talked about is it's odd to me that this is happening on the South Korean platform, because typically like all of these big tech companies, the biggest tech companies in the world, are all coming out of Silicon Valley, but we're seeing the major innovation hubs not in America. They're elsewhere, which is great, but it's very interesting what we're seeing. And I think there's a lot of just different stuff that's happening that's going to lead to just a different future than what we're living in today. So that's how I would kind of like put a bow on the Anchor conversation tonight. But Josh and Ryan, I'm not sure, or Eric, if you guys have anything else to add to that. But
The future's sweet, man. It's really
Exciting
cool.
stuff.
it's gonna make the present look outdated.
It feels a
That's
lot.
for sure.
It feels a lot like the late 90s, early 2000s internet, where you had to kind of know what you're doing in order to move around it. well, and then UI and UX improved, and gradually,
Exactly.
people, mass adoptions, and yeah, I mean, this is freedom. This is decentralization. This is eliminating middlemen that's causing fees. This is, someday DeFi will mean, you know, anti-hacking and anti-middleman and all that kind of stuff, which is, I think it's a beautiful thing for the future. So
Yeah, cut it here for tonight because we're actually getting a little purring in the audio now all of a sudden. So we should
I
probably.
think that was just on. I think that was just on Ryan's side. But Eric, before we cut it, we should talk about Bitcoin
Okay.
and just
Okay.
talk about and talk about the markets in general. But Ryan, do you have any price predictions on Bitcoin or also alts in general? I'd be curious.
man, I was really, really shocked. Is my audio
But
okay,
hang
guys?
on,
Yeah.
Ryan, 1 second. Your audio is a little janky, dude. I'm not sure what the deal is there.
Just all of a sudden, it just went bad all of a sudden.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe
Sounds like a cat's purring when you're talking.
yeah. Maybe if you just try reconnecting one more time.
All right, you guys got me now?
Ooh, that
Yeah.
sounds nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yeah. So Bitcoin, I was shocked this week, and over the last couple of days. Well, not really shocked. I did think over the last day or two, I thought we were going to see a little bit more upward movement from Bitcoin. I think it's hovering right around 56,000, 57,000 right now. I don't know if Eric, if we want to put up the live price chart, but man, I took some profits from Luna, from ADA, from Mana yesterday. Terra keeps going up. It's up almost 9% in the last 24 hours versus Bitcoin. Bitcoin keeps hovering around the kind of 56 to or 55 maybe to 59,000. I think it's all healthy. I think people are trying to take advantage of alts while they can. I really think over the next couple of weeks, I originally predicted April and May was going to be strong for Bitcoin. I still believe that. I bought Harmony yesterday, which ended up being a pretty good bet. It's up 76% in the last 24 hours versus Bitcoin. I also bought a coin called KSM, which is up almost 6% versus Bitcoin. So yeah, there's some crazy alt action right now. I had a couple others I wanted to share with the audience that are looking into alts right now. I also noticed if you're on Binance, Theta was up 16%. BTT was up 40% in the last 24 hours. HBR, I like HBR, up almost 8%. So yeah, there's a lot of really positive action in the last 24 hours for alts. I personally think that is going to lead into some of that money migrating over to Bitcoin here in this next week, but we'll
So
see.
you're sticking to your guns on the bull call on Bitcoin.
Oh yeah, yep, big time. Yep, I think we're.
I'm sticking to my guns on the sideways movement call. I think that we see continued sideways movement on Bitcoin, but also actually just a broader sideways call on the markets in general. I think what we saw this past week was just really a confused market. We couldn't make up our mind in terms of, are we going south or are we going north? Like, what are we doing here? We got semi-bullish notes from Jerome Powell on Thursday of this past week, but I think what we saw on Thursday was the market rallied on news that basically the Fed was going to continue to be dovish, but the Fed didn't come out and say that they were going to loosen the collateral policy of the banks, which is something that they have in their arsenal. What they can do is they can say, hey, for every $100 that you lend, instead of having to keep $20 locked aside as collateral, you can actually only keep $15 aside. You can actually deploy $5 more. So that's a tool that the Fed has at their disposal, but they didn't use it. So what happened on was that Wednesday or Thursday that the Fed that Jerome Powell was speaking? I can't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday, but we saw that Wednesday. We saw on Wednesday a pop because they came out and basically said, look, we're not in a better place from an economy standpoint. There's still high unemployment numbers. The economy hasn't recovered from COVID. But what they didn't say was anything to the sorts of, we're going to reduce the collateral requirements of the banks. And then we saw on Thursday a slide because people read into that and they're like, all right, well, basically like nothing's changed. And so we saw more uncertainty and we saw that sell off. And then on Friday, we had a very confused market where it started off, I think the market started off down on Friday and then it ended up like break even off of a really weird week. And so I think just in general, nobody seems to really understand what's happening in the market right now. I don't think that people are really in a comfort zone right now for deploying large amounts of capital, which at this point for Bitcoin being $1 trillion asset, I think that's what it takes to move this type of vehicle. Is it does take large amounts of capital deployment. I don't think that people are really comfortable making large bets right now. So I think that we see a sideways movement for the next, I'd call it maybe 3 to 4 weeks on Bitcoin, but also just as a market in general. So that's kind of what I'm expecting.
What do you think, Josh?
Sideways up, maybe a little down.
Dude, Josh, make a call, dude.
Dude, I'm gonna keep holding.
Up a little down.
I'm long. I'm leveraged long. I'm providing liquidity. I mean, I got the kind of the bases covered because the liquidity helps me on the short. So, I mean, I really don't know, to be honest, you guys. Like, I just all I want to be is set up to where, if the market drops by 50% next week, I'm fine. If it goes up 50% next week, I'm fine. Those are kind of like the 3 Sigma events. And, the first one would suck, but they're probably not going to happen. So we're probably going to either go sideways or a little down or a little up. Like I don't know.
I think
So
you're right.
Well, let me actually take a more I don't know if
Ryan's
aggressive
doing's
is the right
working,
word.
right? So Ryan's making some money. He uses his algo to buy some alts that are gonna go up against Bitcoin because he goes back into Bitcoin. So it's working. The liquidity pool, the passive income that I'm
Working.
doing, it's working too. And the thing is that there's so many different ways to make money
But
right
notice
now. Even
what
when it
we're
goes
not
sideways.
doing. We're not buying raw Bitcoin. And I think we should just be transparent about what it is that we're doing, because I think it does matter and entry points do matter.
But
So
I'm buying synthetic Bitcoin almost daily. Like
are you?
when
Okay.
when I get my rewards, I'm restaking it back in. My synthetic Bitcoin is growing, and
Oh, okay.
I'm going to
Fair
continue
enough.
to do that. I'd rather hold Bitcoin over Mir.
Tesla?
Oh yeah, for sure, over Tesla. I
Really?
think Kathy Woods she makes some good points, but they are out there. She's out there,
Yeah.
man.
Do you see that new
Like,
price target that Kathy put
dude,
out?
maybe, but probably not. You know, the thing about her, I don't know if you guys got to go. I mean, I have time if you guys want to stick around, but that Kathy Woods, I did hear some nonsense about their price target based off the insurance, the underwriting.
She didn't claim a lot of the insurance dollars. It was mostly off of because I did read through the report. It was mostly off of the ride hailing network. So I think she accounted for like $300 billion of revenue from ride hailing, from autonomous ride hailing in 2025, which strikes me as being probably too aggressive, too much. But she also didn't put very much into insurance or the energy sector as well. So you can kind of like poke at certain parts, but she also like, you know, she was underrepresenting certain areas, and I think she was overrepresenting the autonomous ride hailing. Because $300 billion is like, that's a lot. That's a lot to expect in 2025. I don't think that we see that.
Yeah.
Maybe
but
we're
if we see it,
Bitcoin.
see, I'd rather be in Tesla, man. I don't know.
How
I'd
about
rather
you,
be in
Ryan?
Tesla.
what was that?
But Ryan's Bitcoin, dude, all day.
Yeah, I'm Bitcoin. I am this week. You guys remember this week I'm moving some funds around to do a stimulus test. See what we can do with some stimulus funds, and see, because we have like these different models. We have Nick's model, which is like believe in in technology and company and culture, and he's like, I'm gonna put it all in Tesla. You have Josh's model where he's like, I'm going to keep an eye on what's going on. I'm gonna, put it places where I'm excited. I'm gonna keep putting it into Bitcoin. I'm gonna be heavy Bitcoin. Yeah, my model, which is like no emotion, day trade, follow the numbers. So like we have like three completely different. And Eric has a model of like staking. And last time you were talking about like yield farming. And so we have like these four different models.
NFTs.
And like, what was that again?
I think you got a couple NFTs too, right, Eric?
Yeah, I got a couple
NFT
NFTs, but yeah, nothing serious. I was trying to make some on the side, so I was trying to
We
make.
Eric,
have,
you're buying a lot.
There's
You're buying
so
a lot
much
of Ethereum,
opportunity.
right? You're a big Ethereum guy, right, Eric?
Yeah, Ethereum. I just bought more Ethereum actually with my tax money.
so we basically have everything covered. So like what we should do is we should hold all of ourselves accountable
Yes,
to
dude. Yes.
let's get a scoreboard and let's share with the audience. I'm moving money right now. Hopefully it'll be in. I'm traditional, so it's gonna take like 5 days for it to get in, so I can actually use it. But by like Thursday, I think we should do something like that. And
It's gonna take a minute for
down.
my bet to pay off. I fully acknowledge Tesla won't pop. Probably won't pop this week, next week, this month, next month, 3 months. It's a year-over-year
So-
thing, and that's what I'm in it for.
That's why you're doing the liquidity pool for the M
That's right.
Tesla, and
Yep.
you are actually basically buying more Tesla as it's going sideways because of the liquidity pool.
I'm just
So,
farming
mistaken.
Tesla, dude. I'm just farming.
You're stacking more Tesla.
Beautiful,
so
man.
you can get cheap Tesla right now and just keep stacking, because if you believe it's going to go up, you're going to do well, and it's going to happen quick when it does. I did sell some stuff actually. I've sold my Polkadot. I made 150% on that. I held it since January.
good.
And that one, see, I'm a little more emotional with my trades and my investments. I'm like, oh, this
Bitcoin or USD, Josh?
What's that?
150% Bitcoin or USD?
It was. I thought it was
USD.
Bitcoin.
Oh, sorry.
You know,
I thought it was gonna be a fast answer. I'm sorry.
It's probably closer to like 75% Bitcoin. I can give you the exact numbers, but it is up in Bitcoin terms.
Sweet.
And I'm actually selling my Zilliqa too. Zilliqa hasn't produced anything worth a damn, so I'm kind of looking to pull that out and go over into the Luna ecosystem. And that one is also up in Bitcoin terms. And again, emotional. Like when I got into it, I was like, "Oh, this one is super fast. Their team's really good. I believe in their future, but they're just not hitting their targets, so I'm out."
Yep. Well, cool. I am gonna have to get off, guys. But man, this was awesome learning about this.
This is a banger, dude. This is a banger.
I'm gonna spend the next couple of days. I'm gonna figure out how to get my my Terra wallet hooked up. So maybe on Tuesday, you guys can help me out with that. I would really love to stake my Luna. So Josh, help me because I'm not comfortable with the 21 days. I'm not comfortable with the fees for the instant burn. So let's figure that out in the next couple of days, because I want to figure out what to do with my Luna rather than having it sitting in KuCoin. That doesn't make any sense.
You
Yeah,
can do the
You
math.
can use the Terra wallet and get 40% APR right in the Terra wallet. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Yeah, you guys are hooking me up here.
And that's without doing the bonding and burning and stuff.
Yeah.
That's just straight Luna.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think it's going to be an exciting week. Going back to what Nick was saying, we're probably going to learn a lot this week about the markets, because they seemed really confused last week.
Very confused.
So
Yep.
I'm excited to see what happens on the Bitcoin side and on the stock on the traditional side. We didn't even mention that yield rates went up to like 1.7 on 10-year bonds, but we'll save that for another day. I think we're going to have to watch closely. I'm going to be holding tight to my money, watching very, very closely, and it's going to be an exciting week. So good talk today, guys. And any last words before we head out?
Oh, so today is our 8th show, I believe, and we have made 50 followers. We now have 52 followers. So by next show,
let's go.
by
Let's
Tuesday,
go.
we're gonna be an affiliated Twitch channel. So
Come on.
what's up?
Good
Come
job.
on, baby. Let's
Nice.
go.
The growth, exponential growth, guys. Awesome.
Good work, Eric.
To the right,
Alright.
man.
Thanks everyone for tuning in. Investing with homies out.